Hi, this week's off-grid story is being brought to you from LillyWood, the home of Sido, little Winston in the middle, and Max. And this is where my sister lives. It's a really beautiful, beautiful off-grid property. And my sister's pretty cool, so let's hear her story. And before we meet my sister, Imp wasn't in the lineup, but he lives here too. Here's Imp. Buddy, you coming out? Want to come out? He's one cool Shetland.
Hi, I'm Lissa. I live at LillyWood. I'm one of the owners. It's a couple of 100 acres in the Macleay Valley. We're off-grid. It's a lifestyle choice that we wish we'd done a few years ago, like 20 years ago. Off-grid to me is living with the environment, getting the most out of it and the best out of it, best from it, and giving back to it. We've got a solar system, we've got a great solar system, we've got our own water. We don't have a curbside bin collection. So we really think about what we do up here to sustain our lifestyle, what we're accustomed to, as well as looking after the environment that we're living in. We try and repurpose everything that we can, if possible, rather than having to take it to the tip. We live a fair way out of town, so tip run's also expensive, car, tipping fees, time, energy.
So I was wondering if you could just speak to like living off grid but not doing without the comforts.
We don't do without the comforts. My husband is not a without the comforts man. We live in a luxe shed. We've got lots of comforts.
I guess you need to have a good power system for all his lights and fans and...
Yeah, look, we did a really good thing. We had an old solar system that failed, and then before it failed we did a lot of research, got really economy-driven fans, got ceiling fans throughout all the rooms. We did a lot of insulating. My husband packed insulation in the shed for about a week and a half, and we really researched washing machines, etc. The old system failed, and then we got a new system which is 8 kVA with 12 kVA backup in batteries, and that just runs everything. It's amazing. So we're limping along, but now we've got fans, we've got a split system air conditioner, we've got Dennis a dishwasher, we've got a washing machine, use a vacuum cleaner, an iron, kettle, electric kettle, toaster, absolutely no problems. So we did get a gas stove, which I think is still really great. I love the gas stove and gas oven. I would talk to my supplier, install them next time if we built that thing with an electric oven. I just don't think the gas ovens work as well. Mine doesn't anyway. Just a stir. But we really researched, and it was really interesting through that research. One of the items I did notice is how disingenuous suppliers can be. So our washing machine, for example, is the most economical washing machine on the market. Pay a little bit more for that. But the reason why it's so economical is because it sucks hot water from another system. So therefore that unit doesn't use so much hot water. It doesn't use hot water, it only uses coal, so therefore it uses less power. But it's drawing on our gas bank as well. We've got bottled gas up here, so we're not totally sufficient. I'd like to buy another washing machine that makes its own hot water, because now we have the great solar system, we can actually afford to use a solar system like that. When I say we've got 8 kVA power, that's sitting there ready for use. So our solar system draws off the roof. It's a PV solar system, draws off the roof. We use, and then what we don't use goes into batteries. So we look at the day, the weather. We do in winter our washing, dishwasher, Dennis dishwasher, between 8 and 10, because that's when we get the biggest hit of sun. and we use him before it goes into batteries, and we're never without power. We don't drop below 80%. Got an app on the phone, tells me how much power we've got, what our draw is, what our draw was the previous day. It predicts. Not sure how it does. It's a bit like bomb, not very accurate. Predicts what power we're going to take in, and it doesn't predict what we're going to use, which is quite sensible because when my husband comes back we use just a little bit more. But this is our kitchen. This is Dennis over here. He's a little guy, he's a 45 centimetre, most dishwashers are 60, but he fits everything in him, and he's brilliant. He's got an econo mode, which we thought, oh, we'll only be able to run him on econo mode. Econo mode takes, so they take kilowatt per hour, our kilowatt hours. Econo mode is 0.51 kilowatt hours, but it takes 3 hours to do dishes. Whereas the 90-minute cycle is 1.15, so it both use the same amount of water. I think you get a better clean for your dishwashers, and we've got the solar to afford it, and within 90 minutes we're making more mess in the kitchen again, so it's quite good, And everything stocks down, and we've got a inline pump that runs the water we got totally water efficient taps, outlets. Can't run those without pressure behind it, so even with a header tank there might be not enough flow. So we've got an inline pump that does all our taps, including our outside taps, but if we have a fail on that, the outside taps still work because they're not with the new nozzle, the new economy nozzles, less water usage nozzles. Lots of people say get rid of the inline pump, put a header tank on, so you can gravity feed your water. I quite like the pump. We've had a couple of burst pipes and leaking pipes. A brother that put a tent peg through a pipe. Giggle in the background. And the only way we found out was because we could hear the pump coming on and off. So for me, it's a bit of a backup with that as well. I don't mind it. It's quite okay. So this is my off-grid kitchen.
This is my solar system. We had a much smaller solar system when we first moved out to the farm. It was about 2.5, 3 kVA, but it also had lead acid batteries. It failed during the fires without electricity for 3 months, running off a little portable generator for 8 hours of the day and candles for the rest of the evening. We got this system about 3.5 months after we lost all power. It's a fantastic system. The way I understand it's about 8.5, 9 kVA, backed up by a Jenny of the same capacity. It's all smart technology, I suppose you'd say. The way I understand it is of our 24 panels on the roof, power comes in, we use whatever's being on at the time, gets its power first, takes its requirements. Whatever's excess goes through here into the batteries. They're lithium batteries. When we're not making power then, so in the evening after the sun goes down, we then use from the battery storage. We've got a couple of little buttons up here. We're at full capacity now, full power now. If it drops down to less than 30%, we'll get an orange light here. The generator automatically kicks on. It's got this smart technology. We've got a feed over here, a sensor that runs out to the generator that asks it to start. When it does start, the energy, the power supply comes back in here, recharges the batteries to the capacity that it needs, and then it shuts itself all down. We haven't had to use that because this is such a great system. We have surplus power, which is fantastic. We've got PV, so even on the brightest full moon night, we're still making power. It's a light-based system as opposed to a heat-based system, which I suppose most PV systems or PV systems are these days. I love it. I love the independence. We had floods up here a couple of months ago. A lot of the Shire lost its electricity for 3, 4, 5 days. We weren't even aware of it because we're off the grid. It's awesome. Fingers. There you go, my man. Good boy. I grew up off-grid. I spent a number of years off-grid. It was pretty primitive. It was an eye-opener. I remember Mum used to drive the car up to the kitchen window. Yeah, I know. Another bit of carrot for you, bro. Fingers. Mum used to drive the car up to the kitchen window. I'd throw out 2 cords with alligator clips on them. She'd hook them up to the battery, and we had one fluorescent light that we ran for about 3 or 4 hours. Then after that it was lights out, light out, and candles. We also had the privilege of one of those really cute little 34 centimetre black and white TVs without a remote control. And we used to run the generator to get 1 hour of TV a night as well if we were very good. You had to sit really, really close to the TV so that you could hear it over the sound of the generator that was just next door. So we've come a long way since then with off-grid solar power. I must say I do like the advancements. Sure, and it is. Living off-grid does require, I think, a mind shift. My husband is English and has only lived in luxe houses, suburbs, towns. So this was a real eye-opener for him. He loves it and he's very capable, so he took to it like duck to water, which is great. I have the knowledge of living off-grid, not so much the capacity though. So I'm not as able-bodied as most, and it can be hard. It's a little bit flattening when it's really cold and you don't have any firewood and you don't want to put your air conditioner on at night because, you know, you don't have an air conditioner because your system's not good enough. Ours is. I really look to workarounds though. So with my limited ability to get around the property, we just do things, you know. I've got a walker. I've now got a quad. The quad has been absolutely liberating for me. We just do things smarter, and you know, it's my motto: do things smarter, not harder. And the guys are getting there too now because they're getting older. You know, it's like don't use the brawn, use the brain. So it's a lifestyle that could be open to most people. Look, I really think so. I think that I think a lot of people which are not as able or mainstream with, you know, capacity. I can only speak to physical capacity. I think the go-getters of those people find workarounds, and it's really rewarding finding workarounds. You know, I've got simple things like I've got compromised balance, so when I light the fire, I sit on a swivel chair. It's great. I've got a little, like a gazanda for the firewood, which I just pull the basket up. So doing it safely, doing it comfortably, doing it easily. Everybody uses that now because it's good, it's great, it works. So it doesn't seem like it's a disability aid. It seems like it's a, geez, this is a great idea thing. Yeah. So we work around. I'm conscious of my limited ability. I have a thing called step credits, so I can sort of gauge how far I can get in a day, and I use them accordingly, you know. And I don't really recall a time where I felt that I wasn't able to contribute or do what I wanted to do. We you know, with the fires, we lost all our fences, and we had a particularly difficult stretch of fence about, I don't know, 800 metres long, difficult to get to, difficult to fence, difficult to pull out the remaining star posts and the wire. And it was great. We just did it slower. We just, you know, the guys got me down, we went down through the neighbour's property instead, drove down there, had my stick, you know, and we just trundled, you know. I found jobs to do. Unfortunately, a lot of them are cleaning and picking up, not really desired, but I've got an electric chainsaw, a battery-operated chainsaw. You know, I go into we had a case where I was chopping some firewood for Mum. My husband's chainsaw wouldn't start, you know, the petrol-operated one came back up to the house and did something, went back down and it wouldn't work and came back up. I went through 2 batteries and got Mum a load of firewood, and we were done before he got back. So, like, it's awesome. I used his brawn to move the firewood up the hill, but it was all cut. So, yeah, I like the challenges, and I think it actually keeps me at a capacity where I am as well. I don't want to rot in a unit, you know. It's no way. This is magic.
3 tips. First tip, look and listen to what others have done before. Investigate it, submerge yourself in it. 2, do your own research. It's good to find out what they've done, but do your own research. And then 3, do what you need for your off-grid lifestyle. It mightn't be the same as the guy next door.
Thanks.
Pleasure.
Ba ba da ba 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 da ba